Hi, good afternoon. My name is Jesus Eguino. The purpose of this presentation is to expand our knowledge on the constitutional initiative and referendums as they are the heart of direct democracy in Arizona. Our number one point is to provide the basic definitions of both. So, in a political context, initiatives are and referendums are mechanisms implemented in constitutional democracies such as the one we have in the United States. As McClory stated on his book, constitutional initiatives allow people to make changes to the state's constitution by passing elect officials altogether. Throughout the process, citizens of a state can mediate, communicate their concerns, and have a direct impact on the legislative process of government by removing or modifying existing law entirely or partially. While Arizona exercises initiative and referendum, it is valid to highlight that it's not implemented by all states in the country, and the process is not carried out at the federal level. Referendums, on the other hand, are the most common route to constitutional changes. Throughout this mechanism, legislators can propose amendments. Once the amendment passes, the voting citizens of the state must vote to be included in the ballot. Arizona is one of the states providing citizen initiative constitutional amendments, statutes, and veto referendums. If people are not satisfied with the actions of government, or if the government would like the approval of a policy or law, these devices of initiative and referendum are available. Both processes need the people's vote at some point, and the fact of the matter is that in most cases, people's approval is crucial and final. Second aspect of the presentation is going to focus on explaining how the initiative and referendum are created. According to an article from Dr. Brennan about the initiative and referendum process in Arizona, since statehood in 1912, Arizona has been among the nation's leaders in using initiative process to either adopt a statute or amend the state's constitution by placing a measure on the ballot. But such an effort are anything but easy. There are certain requirements specified in the state's constitution to start a petition for an initial proposal for constitutional amendment on the ballot, such as a valid signature from 15% qualified electors. In addition, valid signatures from 10% of qualified electors are needed to place an initiative proposing a statutory amendment on the ballot. The Office of the Secretary of State in Arizona published a guide describing the characteristics and initiative and referendum as well as the process on how to create them. According to the guide, to circulate a statewide initiative or referendum, petition or a person or organization must do the following. Number one, they need to establish or design a political committee that will act as their initiative or referendum sponsor. Number two, they need to apply for initiative and referendum serial number from the Secretary of State's office. Number three, they need to obtain an official initiative or referendum petition form from the Secretary of State's office. Number four, they need to register and pay or non-residential circulators before circulating any petition. And last, number five, they need to file sufficient number of valid petition signatures on the approved form by the applicable deadline. Finally, the Secretary of State and applicable county recorders will process the petition and determine whether there is enough signatures to place the measure on the ballot. Number three, we're going to compare and contrast initiative and referendums. The process of initiative and referendum have their disparities, but they also have some commonalities. Both processes are implemented at the state level and by some states to vote on legislation. Furthermore, the initiative process allows citizens of the participating states, such as Arizona and 15 other states, to create a proposal for a new statute or constitutional amendment. In fact, according to McClure, throughout the initiative process, and I quote, voters can approve or reject measures designed by the citizens themselves. To pass a new law or amend an existing one throughout an initiative, the state's citizens need to collect enough signatures from registered voters to place their issue on the ballot. Moreover, the process can be organized by a person or an organization. In either case, whoever is sponsoring the initiative must file sufficient signatures with the Secretary of State to make it to the ballot. On the other hand, referendum processes allow citizens to refer to a law that passed the legislature to the ballot for voters to decide whether to uphold or repeal the law. In contrast, a referendum is a vehicle by which voters might veto a law by gathering signatures from registered voters. Similar to initiative process, the person or organization seeking to the referendum must file these signatures with the Secretary of State. Consequently, if the sponsor submits enough valid signatures, the bill will be placed on the next general election ballot. Both processes relied on voters' signature. The number 4 point in our agenda is to discuss the pros and cons of each one of these processes. According to McClory, the initiative and referendum has appeared in the ballot since statehood in every election. Although the idea of direct democracy is in place and release tension among the people of Arizona, the process continues to create controversy. Some of the cons have to do with the people's lack of expertise in writing initiatives to make sounding laws. Although the process of initiative and referendum is for the people, it could be taken over by wealthy special interest. After all, campaigns rely on sufficient funding. Another negative aspect is related to outsiders seeking opportunities to advance in the national agenda, especially those extremely wealthy. So it is questionable whether it should have a direct opinion on the matters of the Arizona states. Certain complaints about the initiative being too extreme and not inclusive to all citizens of the state. In fact, some exclude the minorities and immigrants who are not registered voters but pay taxes. In addition to that, citizens' initiatives have more flaws than legislative measures. Laws that have not been drafted well can result in costly legal challenges. On a positive note, the I&R process enables citizens to overthrow the law, exercising the principles of democracy. In addition, the initiative process allows for creation of laws suitable to most of the state's population. It helps the citizens hold the government accountable. Referendums help to regain voters and reestablish the idea of direct democracy. Additionally, they help to resolve issues related to law or regulations without causing further separation of political groups. The last point in our agenda is to explain how initiative and referendum support the idea of direct democracy as outlined in the Arizona State Constitution. Direct democracy, also known as pure democracy, has been supported in the Arizona State Constitution since the establishment of statehood in 1912. The state uses initiative and referendum processes to prevent the government from taking complete ownership of the state's law and regulations. Moreover, this idea of direct democracy comes from the I&R process being designed, signed, and approved for the citizens of the states. Therefore, it serves the people. In addition to this idea, women were given the right to vote during the first election of Arizona in 1912. Along the same lines of direct democracy and using the initiative method, great changes were made in Arizona. Among these examples are the elimination and restoration of the death penalty, limitations of the term of judges, change of the name of Arizona State Colleges to Arizona State University, initiation of the state lottery, multiple animal rights measure, higher taxes for cigarette, ban of smoking in public places, increased minimum wages, among others. While the idea of pure direct democracy continues to draw severe criticism and controversy, people who are supporters of this principle argue that it has the ability to help reform the government and equip the powerless groups to place their cases before the people. Finally, it can provide the foundations for a vibrant and healthy democracy. For this presentation, we use a few references. Among them are Dr. Brennan's article published in 2013 about initiative reforms in Arizona, Initiative and Reform Guide published in 2019, and our textbook for the class, McClure T. 2010, Understanding the Arizona Constitution, 2nd edition. Thank you so much for your time.